about politics. How many people in the audience consider themselves to be a Democrat? Can you see some hands? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So most of the room. Do we have any Republicans? Okay, so we have 1. Of 2. Of the people who didn't raise their hands, any independents? Okay, so that pretty much covers everybody else. I need a volunteer from the Democrats. Nancy, why are you a Democrat?
Because I believe the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if I was ever down and out, I'd want my fellow citizens to help me as much as I would help them.
Okay, and you feel that the Democrats do that?
I feel that was the original goal of a lot of the democratic movements. I don't think that that's absolutely what they're doing now, but I feel that that's the core principle that started with a lot of those things.
So that's the ideal, but maybe they're not holding to that anymore?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Joe, I think you were pretty much the only Republican, so you're nominated de facto here. Why are you a Republican?
Limited government, and also to promote a platform that encourages business.
Okay. Do you feel that the Republican Party is fostering limited government?
No.
So is it safe to say that the ideals that the party once held are no longer adherent to?
I would say that's true.
Okay. And the independents in the room, can I have a volunteer?
Well, I think there was only one on there.
That's fine, Lynn. Perfect. Lynn, why do you consider yourself an independent? Why not a Democrat or a Republican?
Well, I've been pretty much a Democrat in the past. There's times when I don't vote. I think the reason to be an independent is that I think the two-party system is counterproductive, and I think there should be 20 parties, frankly. And the guy with the most votes and the woman with the most votes should win.
I absolutely agree with you. So basically what you're saying is that the two-party system is kind of rigged at this point, and we're forced to choose the lesser of two evils. Is that about right?
No, I didn't say rigged. I think it's counterproductive.
Okay.
I know it's a check and balance system of sorts, but when I watch the petty stuff going on between the two, I just throw up my hands and say that I could vote for it, and I just go in another direction.
All right. Well, there's a lot of frustration from Lynn, from everyone else, about what's going on in the political system, because what we once believed about these parties is no longer true. There's absolutely no difference at all between the Democrats and the Republicans, and I will show you proof. I'm really pleased to be able to use these. This is the changes that have happened in our economy between the year 2009 and today. Now, we were told that the recession ended in 2009, right? That we're starting to recover and all is going well. This is corporate profits since 2009, hovering right around 40%. They're doing great. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up 45% since 2009. There's never been a better time for you to be an owner of a corporation, a CEO, wealthy, because you're making money hand over fist. Unfortunately, that's your wages right there. So your wages since 2009, the supposed recovery, have gone down by 1%. They haven't actually gone up. And this is the employment numbers. So since 2009, instead of us gaining back some of the 8.5 million jobs that we've lost, we've actually lost a few more jobs. So when the government tells us that we've had a recovery, who exactly had the recovery? The wealthy. Now, the reason why I say that Democrats and Republicans, there is no difference, is effectively what we get to watch is a puppet show. You've got the Republicans on one side, you've got the Democrats on the other, and what they'd love for us to do is pick one of those two sides and fight it out. So instead of looking up top where the problem is, we're focusing on the other party and arguing over trivial issues. How many people in the room have heard of Goldman Sachs? Just about everyone. Goldman Sachs is the Darth Vader of corporations. It is the epitome of evil. Goldman Sachs has a revolving door with the U.S. Treasury. So what happens is they'll send over a secretary of the U.S. Treasury, And then that person will retire from that position and go right back to his cushy job at Goldman Sachs. They're a very intelligent company. They're one of the most profitable corporations in the world. Guess who they donate to politically? Democrats and Republicans. Now, why would one of the most powerful, wealthy corporations in the world donate to both parties? Because they want to get the puppet show going. They want us to be fighting over trivial issues. They want us to worry whether or not Sarah Palin's going to run for election, or whether or not President Obama was born in the United States. Meanwhile, they're absconding with all the money. 2.5%. Why is that number important? That is the amount of the wealth in the United States that 150 million people control. 2.5%. And that's us, folks. Does anybody in the room make more than $1 million each year? Okay, I noticed that not a single hand went up. If you made $1 million, the people who are pulling the strings in our government, who actually own Congress at this point, would laugh, because to them that's chump change. And yet we make far less than that. So here we are, Democrats and Republicans, trapped in this leaky little boat, lifeboat, that could sink at any moment, and instead of worrying about paddling to shore, we're splashing each other. And they're laughing because they're sailing away, not on the Titanic, but on a luxury yacht. They've got all the resources. Does that sound fair to you? It's immensely frustrating to me that people are not united, that we allow the differences between us to overshadow all the things that we have in common. Look around you in this room. Nobody here makes over $1 million. We have that in common. Raise your hand if you're an American. Every hand in the room went up. We have far more that unites us than divides us. Far more. And if we actually put these differences aside and come together and ignore that two-party system and actually vote for people who are going to make a difference, we can start affecting change. Now, who should you vote for? I don't care if that person is a Democrat or a Republican, or they're from the green eggs and ham party. If they say one of these two things, you should consider voting for them in the next election. Raise taxes on the wealthy. Why is this important? Warren Buffett said it best. Does anybody know who Warren Buffett is? Warren Buffett was formerly the richest man in the world. And he is begging our government to raise taxes on the wealthy. Because what he understands is that if the wealthy, who control the other 97.5% of the money in our nation, don't put some of that back into the system, then that leaky lifeboat is going to sink. And that's the last thing they want to see. Because the wealthy need us as much as we need them. So, unfortunately, they're never going to agree to allow us to raise taxes if they either are part of the Republicans or the Democrats. You're going to have to look for somebody outside that two-party system that's going to do that. The second thing that we're going to need them to do, end the wars. Do you guys realize that we've been in 2 wars for 9 years, and by the election we'll be coming up on 10 years? We've spent $3 trillion. We've lost thousands of American lives, and hundreds of thousands of Afghani, Pakistani, and Iraqi lives. They say that this is supposed to prevent terrorism, but how do you prevent terrorism by bombing these countries back into the Stone Age year after year? And how does it benefit us as American American citizens to see all of our money that we can't afford at this point going towards these wars? So who is it benefiting? It's benefiting the wealthy. It's benefiting the defense contractors. It's benefiting the oil barons. We've got to stop it. And that's going to mean listening to a candidate who's willing to end the wars, and again, raise taxes on the wealthy. But that's not ever going to happen unless we come together and become united. So, I know Greg already gave you some homework tonight. I'm going to give you some more. When you leave here, I want you to talk to your friends. I want you to talk to your coworkers. I want you to talk to your family. I want you to post this as your Facebook status. I am neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I am an American. And they're going to ask you, well, what does that mean? And when they do, I want you to tell them what you've heard here tonight, what you've heard in some of my previous speeches, that we have far more in common, that we need to come together as Americans if we expect to affect any sort of change. And if we don't, if we keep watching the puppet show and not doing anything to stop it, then we're going to wake up one day to find that lifeboat finally sinking. So I want to drive home one last point. So if everybody would please stand up. I want you to repeat after me. I am an American.
I am an American.
One more time, louder.
I am an American.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time that we stand united. Mr. Toastmaster.